Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to introduce Moumita, who heads the India Initiative for SOS Children's Villages. She also plays an important role in household marketing and other international fundraising programs for SOS USA. She comes from an advertising background. She has a degree in communications management from Symbiosis, as well as a master's in advertisement from Syracuse University. And she enjoys traveling and cooking and probably SOS. Without further wasting any more time, let me introduce Moumita. Hey.
Good morning. Thank you for taking time out to hear about SOS. As Krishnan said, I'm heading the India Initiative for SOS Children's Villages. I'll just quickly take you through the agenda. I'll first take you through an overview of SOS Children's Villages, talk about how we build an SOS Children's Villages, emergency relief programs, then take you through our corporate and celebrity supporters, talk about the SOS strategic plan, discuss some numbers with you, and then come to SOS India overview, our upcoming Diwali campaign, and then opportunities that Google can help us with. SOS Children's Villages is the world's largest charity dedicated to orphaned and abandoned children. It's a surprise that people in USA think that SOS Children's Villages was founded in USA, but it's a flip-flop. SOS Children's Villages actually was founded in Europe about 60 years ago. And we are the only organization who takes care of long-term care of children. Our vision is a loving home for every child. We believe that stable relationships and a child-friendly environment is essential for the healthy development of a child. And this, we think, can be achieved best in a family-based setting. What we do, we build homes for orphan and abandoned children. We keep siblings together. We never separate siblings. So if siblings come together to our villages, we make sure they always stay together. We work with communities to strengthen families. We build schools and kindergartens, vocational training centers, medical facilities, and run a lot of emergency relief programs. These figures are really, really daunting. While SOS strives to take care of children in need, there are far too many children who are suffering from a lack of family or lack of security. And these numbers are growing by the day. How do children get orphaned or abandoned? There are many ways that can happen. One of the huge reasons is health reasons. That's life-threatening diseases like HIV, AIDS. Psychosocial reasons like domestic abuse, drug or alcohol addiction, armed conflict, natural disasters like tsunami, socio-cultural reasons. Even till date, I think in some parts of India, a female child is welcome. And I think economic reason is one of the biggest. These children are living in extreme poverty. They're probably living in a family where they have too many mouths to feed, and these families, their life rules by hunger, so they cannot take care of them, and hence they are abandoned. What we believe in, we believe that every child should grow up in their own biological family. And that means that the immediate family, if the child has both parents or a single parent. If the child loses both the parents, then the next best option is traditional safety net, where the child lives with the extended family, uncles, aunties, grandparents. If these relatives are unable or willing to take care of these children, the next best option is alternative safety care, where there are sibling-headed families where an older brother or an older sister is taking care of the family. What we would like to prevent is loss of biological family, because if a sibling-headed person cannot support his family, these children could get into really bad things, like they could get into child labor, they could be sexually exploited. In India, early marriage is another thing. They could beg on the streets. They could become child soldiers. So the next option is getting them adopted or short-term care. SOS Children's Villages actually should be the last resort. If children, yes? Short-term care is the sibling-headed family. If they can take care, the extended family or the sibling-based family, if they can take care of the child for a short term, and then maybe the child can be adopted. And SOS Children's Villages should be the last resort. If a child doesn't have a family or an extended family or cannot survive in a sibling-headed household, that's when they should come to SOS Children's Villages. we make sure that a child who comes to an SOS village doesn't have any family, because our goal is that a child should be happy in their respective families. And what we do is we do a lot of family strengthening programs, because these family strengthening programs are designed to enable families to help support themselves and cope up with their life independently. So we do a lot of family strengthening programs like provide education, meals, HIV/AIDS awareness programs. We give microloans to women so that they can start their own business and support their families. And we, of course, believe in forming families. Once these children do get to our villages, each village is based on 4 principles. We think that every child should have a loving mother. Every child should naturally grow up with brothers and sisters. They should live in a secure home, something which they can call their own home, and they should live in a secured community. This is a typical path of, when a child comes to an SOS village. The average age is 0 to 10 years. And as I mentioned earlier, we never separate siblings. We always keep siblings together. If a child goes through the foster care system, if there are 3 siblings, they could be separated in different families. If a foster family says that we cannot take care of 3 children, maybe they just take 1 and the remaining 2 children move to other families. Whereas we make sure that all siblings are always kept together. Every child is emotionally and materially supported through SOS, and education, vocational training is provided. And our main aim, as I said, is to keep siblings together. And these children grow up in our families and don't leave the villages till they're actually ready to go out and face the world. So it's long-term care of children. We always build SOS Children's Villages with government partnership. We have never left a village or a country, or never have been banished from any country. These villages are based on a principle called SMI, which is all villages are sturdy, they're modest, and they're integrated. So they're always integrated with the local community. So we use local architects, local building materials, and always the design is traditional. Typically in an SOS village, there are 10 to 15 houses, in some cases 20, where in each house there are 8 to 10 children. There's an SOS mother taking care of them. There are SOS aunties helping the mother, because one lady taking care of 8 to 10 children is not easy. And in some of the villages, there are medical centers, kindergarten, schools, as needed. Rebuilding in times of disaster. We've been there in times of, any disaster, and SOS Children's Villages is there to help out. Right now, we are running an emergency relief program in Pakistan. We did a huge full-scale emergency relief program in Haiti. After tsunami in 2005, 8 children's villages were built. There were 1,000 orphans after tsunami, so we had to build 8 villages. And till date, these children are supported through SOS Children's Villages. We are still working on rebuilding their lives. These are some of our major corporates, and I'm being optimistic, and I've put Google for a maybe here. So hopefully in the coming months, I can probably come back and talk to Google again, and Google can be one of our supporters. Angelina Jolie is a really big supporter of SOS Children's Villages. After the Haiti earthquake, she's been to our villages already twice, and she has been generously supporting us since a couple of years now. This is our international strategic plan. Right now we are raising 80,000 children in 132 countries. We would like to raise 100,000 children by 2016. We are serving 250,000 through our family strengthening programs. But as I said, our goal is to help more people so that they can live in their families. So by 2016, we would like to help 900,000 people through the family strengthening programs. SOS is a huge network. 132 countries. We are already helping close to 1 million people through different programs, women and children specifically. This is why I'm here specifically today, is to talk about the India campaign. How the India campaign, we started this about a year ago. SOS Children's Villages has been around in US for over 30 years now, but there was no specific marketing campaign for India. How this campaign started, we found out that there are 4.5 million Indians here in US. There's such a huge need in India, and we have the largest number of villages in India, so it's a perfect fit. you name it and we are there. In fact, our 40th village is coming up in Mumbai this November. It's coming in a place called Alibag, which is close to Bombay. A quick snapshot of SOS Children's Villages. The first village was started about 46 years ago in Delhi. We have children's villages, family strengthening programs, youth facilities, schools, training centers, and we are always there during any emergency situation. SOS Children's Villages India actually has sent me this chart where they say that 53% of their revenues were used for SOS Children's Villages, 12% for youth homes, 10% for home and minor schools, and so on. So this is the spend for 2009. The average cost to build an SOS Children's Villages is $2.5 to $3 million, and this includes 15 to 20, in some cases, a little more houses, a kindergarten, ancillary facilities because there are SOS aunties, there's a village director, we create halls, and in some cases, medical centers. And also, as I mentioned previously, we build primary and secondary schools. So and when I say 1:10 ratio, when we build schools or we build medical centers, one person from the SOS is using it, but there are 10 people from the community who are benefiting from that service. So that's what I mean. And on an average, a child sponsorship in India costs about $2,400 for the year. Why do these children need an SOS village, or why do they come to an SOS village? This research was conducted in 55 countries, and on an average, these were the figures. The death of a mother was the prime reason why a child came to an SOS village. I think half of these children are social orphans, like they have at least one parent, but the parent can't take care of them, or they are unwilling to take care of them. That's why they had to come to an SOS village. The average child's age at an entry in any of the SOS village in India is between 5 and 7. And I'm repeating myself, siblings are always kept together. We never separate siblings. They are kept in the same family. I think this number is, yes. Boys to girls ratio?
Between 5 to 7, so if we split them between boys and girls, are they balanced?
Yes, they are balanced. Girls or boys, that's the average age group they come into the SOS Children's Villages.
I meant to say, if 100 of them came in, how many of them would be boys versus girls?
It is a 50-50 ratio, yeah. Means there's no preference given. So on an average, their kids spend 15 to 18 years. So when I mean long term, it is really long term. They spend 15 to 18 years. So this is their family. This is their mother. They keep in touch with the family even after they've moved away. Like for example, when we move away from a country, we've come here to study, we still keep in touch with our family. So it's the same case here. Though they've been a part of the village for 18 years. So this is their family. There are over 7,500 mothers worldwide. The profile for these mothers are they're single, divorced, widowed. In India, a minimum high school degree is required to apply for this position. They're trained for 1.5 to 2 years before they become an SOS mother. Because, these children come from different backgrounds. A child can come from an abused background. A child could have been sexually exploited, lost a parent. So you have to deal with each child in a different fashion. So that's why these women are given training before they actually become an SOS mother. And this is a profession for them. They've chosen this profession probably because they really love children, but this is a profession for them. So they get a salary, they get a pension. And in some cases, after they retire, some of the villages have created SOS mother retirement homes. So, they are a part of the village for a really long time. In India, the average age of an SOS mother is 28 to 35. 80% children in the SOS families in India would have had only one mother. I got these figures from India where they said that in SOS India, a mother stays for at least 25 years, which I think is a huge figure. And as I mentioned previously, that continuity and stability is the most important for the healthy development of a child, and that is what we try to provide at SOS Children's Villages. I just Googled the literacy rate in India, and I saw that the literacy rate in India is around 68%. So based on that, SOS kids, 98% of the SOS kids have completed education. We give a strong emphasis to quality education. My India office was, happy to share these achievements and awards. The government of India has appreciated the SOS and has actually recommended it to other child care organizations in the country to follow this pattern. And we were awarded the National Award for Child Welfare in 2003 and 4 by Ministry of Human Resources in Government of India. This is the Diwali campaign. Let me just Diwali is the biggest festival in India. I think everybody celebrates Diwali in India. It's a festival of lights. It's taking place on 5th November this year. So our campaign for Diwali is called One Diya, One Child. And this campaign we've created to reach the masses. Our goal is that starting from this year, whenever during Diwali people think of charity, the first Indian charity which comes to their mind, the preferred charity should be SOS Children's Villages. And our goal is to help 5,000 children by November 5th. So this campaign is called One Diya, One Child, where we are telling people that you can buy a beautiful set of diyas. And I have an example here to show you. You can buy a beautiful set of diyas and help a child in India. And these diyas are just for $25, where part of the donation goes to the child. And $25 is not a huge amount, but I think this is a good way to involve more and more people, get them educated about SOS Children's Villages and get more and more people to help children in India. So, this is our campaign. We have recruited 120 super volunteers who are all over USA creating awareness about this campaign. We are talking to individuals, corporates, and companies to participate. In fact, we've got Tata Consulting Services already on board. They have around 15,000 Indian employees here in US, and this is open to Americans as well. Diwali is an Indian festival, but this is open to everyone. But Tata Consulting Services is right now, helping us do an employee giving program where they are creating awareness among their employees about this program and encouraging them to donate or support SOS. And the first email just went out last week, and the response has been tremendous. So we are hoping to have similar kind of response here at Google as well. As I said, these diyas are $25. So we are here at Google. You can select the level of support you're interested in. These are just 4 levels which I've put down here. You can decide to sponsor a child, a group of children, help a village, help a medical center, school, or even a family strengthening program. And I think the best way to do this is to go to sos-india.org/Google, and you can select the options to donate. And I wanted to quickly show you a video. So this is our SOS India website. Right now, because we have the Diwali campaign going on, we have Diwali information here. But you can always go online and read more information about SOS Children's Villages. And thank you.